Welcome to the Pope Prep High School Football Coaches Show. Today's show is brought to you by Clausen Group Realtors, local real estate sales, investment, and property management. We treat your home like it's our own. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, please welcome the host of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show, Kyle Reynolds, and Pope Prep head coach, Brian Sneed. Welcome to the Pope Prep Coaches Show, the final edition of 2023. Coach, it has to end somewhere. Didn't want it to end on Friday night, but every season ends at some point. Talk about the game Friday night down in South Haven, Mississippi against Northport and Christian.
Yeah, I mean, our guys battled hard. It was a disappointing way to end the season. I thought that was a team that we could play with, and we showed that we could. We moved the ball up and down on them. The turnovers killed us. We had a chance to cut the lead to 4, I think, right before the half. Had a big run play and ended up fumbling the ball. We gave them short fields all night, made it tough on our defense. And they did some good things on their offense that we hadn't seen all year when we were looking at film that took advantage of some of the things we were doing defensively. And so we just found ourselves playing behind early because of turnovers. And it's hard to win a football game when you lose a turnover battle 3-0. We have our final team meeting today, and part of the message talking to the team, especially when we have so many guys coming back for next year's team, is, and we talked earlier in the year, failure is just feedback. So we're going to take the feedback from the season. We're going to take the feedback from this loss in the playoffs, and we're going to make sure that we're better for it. I could tell you personally as a coach, this season has made me a better coach. You reflect on things in the middle of the year and during it, and you realize there's some things we could have done better. There's some things we could have done better in the preseason to set ourselves up, especially with such a young team. There's some things we could have done better game planning. There's some things we could have done better, throughout the whole season. So, as far as our coaching staff, I feel like we're going to be a better coaching staff having gone through this season. And I want our players to understand that it's only going to be a failed season if we don't come out better next year and learn from the mistakes that we made this year.
And one of the challenges, I'm not going to say it's an excuse, but one of the challenges when you have a smaller team numbers-wise, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that your team got larger on Saturday morning basically because you only graduate 5 seniors. Yeah. We talked about last week, you're limited in practice. You have days where you don't have enough guys out there to run certain plays. And it was a little noticeable on Friday night, obviously. You had guys that may have been in a position to make play, didn't make the play, wasn't seen, whatever. And that was a challenge for your team on Friday night because, just from me watching on the sidelines, I would see certain things. Oh, well, that's open. Well, that's there. But when you're not able to work through it in practice with enough people and enough there, you're not quite on point like you want to be.
Well, part of that, too, with roster numbers is competition. You get the best out of people when they're competing. And when you have smaller roster numbers and you don't have as much competitions at certain positions. And so, guys, sometimes don't focus on the details in practice like they should because there's not anyone behind them really pushing them. And we need guys to be pushed.
Sure. We
need guys to realize that every rep matters in practice. It's going to translate to Friday nights, how you prepare. That's going to be a big point of emphasis this offseason too is confidence. I think that was something that was lacking throughout the year, and in my opinion, confidence only comes from preparation. Preparation and how you prepare physically, how you train. Preparation: are you faster than the guy across from you? Are you stronger than him? How much do you know? Are you putting yourself in the right position? Like when you start doing those things and preparing the right way, you become more confident because you've repped the thing 1,000 times. You've trained hard to where you've seen improvement in your skill set, physically, mentally, and then now you can start playing faster and get out there and be more aggressive and do those things. I thought our team, in general, throughout the season, and not every game, but in general, we lacked a little bit of confidence, and that we're gonna focus hard on that and make sure that we're better about that going forward. As far as you talked about, we're graduating 5 seniors. I think we had 17 eighth graders on our middle school team that we're expecting to come up and join us next year. We have some other guys that have shown interest right now, so we're expecting a big freshman class next year, hopefully 20 plus. And so you're talking about bumping up our roster 20 kids, 20 to 15 kids, just by moving 5 seniors graduating on and then adding these freshmen in. So that's going to be big for us when you have a veteran group coming back. We return 10 starters on both sides of the ball, which will be great. You have a young, big freshman class coming in. That could be something that, if done right, those guys can start showing them, hey, this is how we need to prepare. This is how we need to do things. So when you're up there as a junior, senior, we're going to be rolling again.
Friday night, Elijah Robb, another big game for him. Young man finished the season and finished his career the right way. 19 carries, 143 yards, and a touchdown. Over 1,700 yards, all-time leading rusher here for a single season. Talk about his performance on Friday night, and as well as the offense. Hudson Curley had a big night, 137 yards on 3 receptions. Julian Murdoch, yet again, you started another quarterback this year. Hudson, again, being injured towards the end of the year. So the last 2 weeks, you've had 2 different guys basically throwing the ball.
Yeah, Elijah, I mean, he's had a gutsy performance all season long. And we talked about it, week after week when the whole defense knows who you're handing the ball off to, and he's still able to gain 150, 160, 130 yards. That's impressive. I told him after the game, the way he played the game was the right way. He ran the ball hard regardless of the circumstance. When we were up big, for our homecoming game, he was still running the ball hard, and when we were down big in some games, he was running the ball hard. When we needed him to make some plays, like you saw in the BGA game in overtime, like he made plays. And so, he deserved. He was a first-team All-Region player, and he deserved that 100%. He's had a great career here, having played in a state semifinal game. Won playoff games. Set the all-time leading rushing record for a single season. So the career he's had, he should be extremely proud of. We're looking forward to seeing where he ends up. Next season, at the college level.
Another on the other side of the ball, Kyron Coleman, Xander Palmer, Luke Latham, big nights, all in double-digit tackles. Talk about their performance on their final game of the year as well.
Yeah, so defensively, our top 8 tacklers return, which is great. We were led by Xander and Kyron at our inside linebackers. I thought Luke Latham, he turned something on in that playoff game where it wasn't just he was making tackles, but he was being more physical. He was striking, running his feet. He was doing it on special teams. He was doing it from the defensive back position. So, that's something to look at. You could tell, I think, he figured something out defensively throughout the season of, okay, this is the right way to tackle. This is the right way to strike and leverage and hit. And so we need more of that going forward. If he can do that from the beginning of the season next year, that's going to be a big addition to our defense. And we got to get more guys doing that. So, those guys, again, they're playing hard. They're coming up with some tackles, and I'm excited to see how they improve over the offseason because they're Xander and Kyron are our top 2 leading tacklers. Both of them coming back, it will be huge for our defense. Again, just coming in and knowing that now I'm a senior and now I'm going to be one of the oldest guys out on the field with a whole couple seasons under my belt. The confidence should be there. The skill set should continue to improve. So that's exciting.
We're going to step over and look at some plays from Friday night on the coaches board.
So we're going to take a look at a couple clips from our playoff game against North Point Christian. The first one was a big play. Late in the fourth quarter, we got 3rd and 11. Our quarterback Julian Murdoch has a big touchdown pass to our sophomore receiver Hudson Curley. You can see one of those things that we talked about. Hudson gives a little bit of a move at the top of his route up there. But if we pause it right here, you can see Julian does a great job. He's throwing the ball, and he's throwing him open. That's kind of a term we like to use. We don't want to wait until he creates separation from this defensive back and start throwing it here. That's usually a little bit too late. You'll allow time for the defense to come over. So what I like about this play, Julian has thrown Hudson open, and you can see it's a big play, big catch. Hudson's able to make a guy miss, and we're going, 85 yards for a touchdown. Showed some good speed, getting down the sideline, and exciting to have both of those guys return for us next year. We take a look at this play. We talked about our first team all-region players, Will Johnson, who's our left guard, and Elijah Robb, who's our running back. And we've talked all season about numbers in the box. Right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen. What we consider the box right here would be, those defensive linemen and those 2 linebackers. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we feel like we got 5 on 5 right there. And these guys could try to add on to the box once they see run. But we usually feel like if we get our running back in space against some of these guys, that we'll have a chance at having a pretty good play. We see a little bit of a motion right here by Jackson Vonderhaar, who's in the backfield, number 3. So what he's going to do is he's going to motion out. We're trying to draw some defenders out with him. Now, they don't move with him on this play. Obviously we're a run-heavy team, so they're going to keep their guys in the box. But we're trying to influence the defense out. We got Drew Price, our right guard, pulling and kicking. Will Johnson is wrapping up on this linebacker. Jarris Jones does a good job of getting back to the backside linebacker, and you can see this play open up right here. It's 2nd and 20, and we get a 31-yard rush. There's a nice seam right there. If you go back and pause it, you can see our 5 are blocking their 5. Okay, right there. There's the seam, and that's what we want. Okay, so we got our 5 blocking their 5. We're saying these guys are out of the box that aren't able to make a play if we're trying to get vertical right now. So on 2nd and 20, we get a 31-yard rush. Elijah does a good job getting down the field, picking up a big play, getting us across midfield, and trying to get down there and get some points. Defensively, Jackson Vonderhaar has had a couple sacks throughout the season. He does a good job coming off the edge right here. This is 2nd and 12. We're expecting a pass, so Coach Carpenter does a good job drawing up a nice blitz for us. He's able to use his hands and swipe and get number 72, the left tackle's arms off of him, and is able to get back there for the sack on the quarterback. So we went from 2nd and 12 to about 3rd and 21. Obviously a big play. Get them in a heavy passing situation where now we can do a little more defensively. This is a play early in the game, first quarter. It's 3rd and 5, so we need to get a stop, get them in the 4th down. We do a good job right here setting the edge. We have J.J. Lynch right here setting the edge hard, making this running back cut back. We're now scraping across. Kyron Coleman, our inside linebacker, is free. Our defensive line and outside linebacker does a good job of kind of eating up blocks so our linebackers can run free. And you'll see him kind of scraping right here. What I like about this play is he's coming downhill. He's scraping, coming downhill, and then finding the open gap, hitting it, and running his feet. Gain of just a couple yards. And he does a good job. Again, we're setting the edge right here so they can't get to the edge. You see the running back's trying to get out to the edge. We're not letting him. He's got to make it cut back, and we have an unblocked defender right here. Kyron's coming downhill. He's striking, running his feet, and now it sets up 4th and 3. They ended up punting on this, so we were able to get the ball back to our offense.
So Clausen Group Realtors, we're a small niche shop, and we help people buy and sell their properties. We're involved with people when they buy and sell. They're not just a number.
I'm a buyer specialist. All I do is help people find their next perfect home. And I'm in homes every day. If I'm not showing, then I'm previewing, so I know what's out there on the market.
The experience with Matt and his group here at Clausen Realty was amazing. It was very much a family environment. It was very professional. It was incredible. I feel like we made friends for life.
So if you need to sell a home or buy a home, our website is www.clausengrouprealtors.com.
It was It's just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, that's going to be our mission to our customers, is to always improve the quality of life. That's from taking care of your pest to a friendly voice on the phone when you call, to a technician that comes out, he's competent, he's going to solve the problem for you. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Welcome back to the Pope Prep Coaches Show. A little change up here. We don't have Coach sitting here. Katie Shea Collins, star soccer player who today signed with South Carolina. It'll be yesterday when you watch this. But Katie, coming from playing in the Pan Am Games here, winning a bronze medal for the U19 U.S. team, national team. Talk about how that came about, Katie. You know, you started playing soccer at what age?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay, and could you dream that big at that point?
I don't think so. I feel like my mom was just trying to get me to, spend some energy. But ever since I was probably about 8, it's always been a dream. And I remember with some of my friends, we would call it our dream team, and we would always wear like USA jerseys. And it was just like from that age, I was like, this is where I want to go. Like, this is my dream. And it was always kind of like a dream, kind of like a little bit in the distance, but I've always just been working towards it, whether that's like doing a lot of like personal training or stuff on my own on weekends, or going with training with boys, or literally like whoever would take me. I was like, hey, like, can I come train? Stuff like that. And, I got the opportunity. I think I got the email in about August, and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone, so that was a little hard, but and then I got my chance in October.
Talk about the emotions when you get that email. I mean, do you believe it's real at first? Are you not sure what this, somebody pranking you?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So actually, me and my brother were doing an anatomy project, and it was like,
of course you were.
9:30 p.m. And I just remember, I see like U.S. soccer as like the heading, and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, it's pretty late. Like, I don't know what email I'm getting. And I open it, and the first thing I read is like, congratulations. And that's all I read. I just like run to my mom, and I'm just like, and I just leave my brother. He has no idea what's going on. And I'm just sprinting to my mom, and I'm like, oh my God. And I like didn't even bring my iPad, so I had to go back and get my iPad and like show her. And then, we started reading it, and we're just like, like I was crying, and the emotions were so high. And my brother finally like comes running in. He was like, what's going on? And then, it was just kind of a really cool moment.
You get that opportunity and you think, oh, that's an easy decision. But it probably wasn't quite as easy as people thought. You were on the team here at Pope Prep. Yes. You all had an amazing year. But what that meant was you're going to miss playoffs.
I did.
How tough was that to tell your team, but still knowing that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and maybe more than once as you go Olympics and things?
I remember one of the first people I told was my coach, and he was like, oh, so like when are you going? And I was like, oh, October, like I think I left on the 12th. And I was like, wait, October 12th? And he was like, oh, it's playoffs. But like everyone was so supportive, and I remember it was actually a really hard decision. Like, of course, this is my dream and this is what I wanted to do, but at the same time, I had a commitment to high school, and my team is just so amazing. But I remember when I told them, like, oh my goodness, the love and the support was just unmatched. And even when I was at like Chile during playoffs and stuff, I remember I tried to watch their game, and they would send me pictures of them watching my game, and so many of them would text me after my game just telling me how good I did, or even my friend Ansley, she would tell me like, oh, you did good at this, but like what about this, just being the best friend, and it was great. It
was really cool here seeing the school and how they rallied behind. It was odd times here for us to watch, but we would put a TV out in the Commons area. But talk about, too, that experience. So you show up there. What is that like as an athlete to be a part of those games and a part of that team? Did you know some of the players ahead of time before you started and before you joined them?
Actually, I knew a couple, but I didn't like know them. You know what I mean? Like, I know them from friends and stuff like that. But this was pretty much my first time meeting everybody, and we go down there for a week before the tournament starts, and you get put with a random roommate. you just do training like once or twice a day. You know, you kind of get into the field, you learn like everything about like how U.S. soccer plays and all that stuff. And then after that, we moved to the athletic village, and then from there, that's when we put like 6 people in a villa, and that's when you really get to know the girls. And they were just all like super amazing. And we were in that villa for about 3 weeks, and that was during the tournament and all our games.
What were the nerves like? It was similar to what you see when you play out here, or played in other big tournaments and things, or was it just different knowing that you're playing for your country this time?
Yeah, I mean, one of the coolest things about being at this level is that like when we do the national anthem, it's like, wow, like this is who you're playing for. So I feel like in my first game, I was a little bit nervous. You know, like this is pretty darn high up in the soccer world, and this is like my dream. You know, I want to do good and all that, but I just remember like first 2 minutes, like first time I got the ball at my foot, I was like, this is like where I deserve to be. Like I just felt comfortable. And all the games after that, of course you're nervous because like you care, but at the same time you're like,
sure, I
deserve to be here, and you know I'm ready to get the win.
And how cool is the opportunity for your family? Saw some pictures there, your family sitting in the stands. You know, they have spent a lot of hours, many hours traveling, taking you to and from. You don't have a bigger supporter in this school than your brother, or in life probably than your brother Patrick, who we're going to talk to in a few minutes, was named All-Region Scholar Athlete, which is pretty cool for football. Talk about sharing that moment with your family and being there for everything that they've helped you with your career.
Yes. So actually, fun thing is that, so I knew my whole family was going. Like I remember we talked about it, and it's just so blessed. Like I'm so lucky that they came, but my aunt also came and surprised me. And I remember seeing her like after the game and seeing my brother and seeing my mom and my dad, and it was just, it was amazing. They all started like screaming because that was our first win, and I had an assist that game, which was really cool. And it was just, I just can't even like describe the moment and the feelings. Like I'm so blessed that they were there. And my mom was there the whole time. My brother and dad were there for a couple games, so was my aunt. And it was just, you know, no words can describe it.
And your brother was so proud, but I think the most excited I heard him was when he talked about the swag that you got. I believe some Oakley sunglasses that he was going to take off of you, I believe. So that's a cool experience, getting some of those things too, and the perks.
Oh, it was amazing. Actually, that was my birthday present to him.
Okay, that's great. And let's hold up the medal. You can go ahead and take it out and look at this. It's really the first time one of these has ever shown up at Pope Prep, I can assure you, from an athlete, but a bronze medal. Well, that's awesome. And Katie, so now you finish your senior year, then you're off to South Carolina to play for the Gamecocks.
Yes, sir. We leave in July. Oh, June. We leave in June. And, yep, I signed this morning, and it is done deal, and I'm so excited because they're actually about to go to the NCAA tournament. So high hopes for them. I'm ready to watch them kill it.
Awesome. Katie Shea Collins, now we're going to go visit with Will Ottman and her brother, Patrick Collins. Joined now by senior Will Ottman. Friday night, final game. The season didn't end the way that you wanted it to. You were injured. Talk about the emotions that you felt on Friday night.
I felt like I gave it my all this season, and I tried my best. And even though I didn't play, I was still on the field to enjoy the thing with my brothers.
What's your favorite moment here in your 4 years at Pope on the football field?
Probably celebrating with the team after a win against Brentwood Academy.
What's next for you?
College.
Major? Do we have a major?
Sports management.
Excellent. Okay, now for some rapid fire questions. Go-to meal after a big game?
Probably Waffle House.
What's the hype song on game day for you?
CTS by Jay Murray.
Last show that you binged?
I don't know. I don't really watch TV.
That'll be it. Thanks. Joined now by senior Patrick Collins. Patrick, Friday night, season ends. This year you were not able to play due to an injury. How tough was it for you to have to be on the sidelines and not be out there on the field with your guys?
Well, being on the sidelines was one of the hardest things I think I've ever done. But being there throughout the season, being able to coach, and just being a teammate was worth it in the end.
What's been your favorite moment here at Pope Prep during your football career?
Favorite moment is really just hanging out with my friends, going to team camps. Team camps every year was something that we always looked forward to. While it was hard, it was something that just brought us closer to the team.
Your sister is going to be signing to play soccer at South Carolina. You going to follow her? What's your plans? What's the next step for you?
Yeah, the plan is to go to South Carolina with Katie. I don't want to be too far, so I think I'll just be there and go to school and maybe help out with the soccer team.
Rapid fire question time. What is the go-to meal after a big game?
Waffle House.
Waffle House. What is the hype song on game day?
Don't know the name of it.
All right then. Last movie that you saw that you enjoyed?
Oppenheimer.
Excellent. That'll be all.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
So Clausen Group Realtors, we're a small niche shop, and we help people buy and sell their properties. We're involved with people when they buy and sell. They're not just a number.
I'm a buyer specialist. All I do is help people find their next perfect home. And I'm in homes every day. If I'm not showing, then I'm previewing, so I know what's out there on the market.
The experience with Matt and his group here at Clausen Realty was amazing. It was very much a family environment. It was very professional. It was incredible. I feel like we made friends for life.
So if you need to sell a home or buy a home, our website is www.clausengrouprealtors.com.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, that's going to be our mission to our customers, is to always improve the quality of life. That's from taking care of your past to a friendly voice on the phone when you call, to a technician that comes out, he's competent, he's going to solve the problem for you. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Welcome back, and the awards are starting to roll in already for individuals here at Pope Prep. First team All-Region, Elijah Robb, no surprise there, Will Johnson. Yeah. Second team is Sam Spicer, Xander Palmer, Kyron Coleman, Will Arbuckle, and Hudson Curley. And then a special shout out to Patrick Collins, who was the All-Region Scholar Athlete Award. Talk about some of those kids and what they did for you. And a lot of those names that we bring up are names that we're going to hear next year of these kids who are going to be returning.
Well, we talked a lot about Elijah, all season long. What he's done here has been special for not only our team, but for him as an individual. Continued to run the ball hard. And part of the reason why he had success was the line up front. I was glad that Will Johnson got recognized as a first-team All-Region player. He was our left guard, and we do a lot of guard pulling, kicking out, wrapping up to linebackers, being physical. Like, he's a guy that kind of sets a tone physically up front. He was a team captain for us, and he would be vocal up front too, encouraging our line when we were struggling at moments. Like, he would be the guy talking and stepping up and getting those guys ready to go. So, it's fitting for him to be named All-Region as well. And I think he contributed a lot to the success that we had running the ball on offense and obviously allowing Elijah to set the single-season rushing record here at Pope.
And next year, when we make the return, you're going to have three quarterbacks who've all had starts under their belt, which is something that we did not have this year.
I don't know that many teams could say that across the state.
So that's going to be a great competition to see who can kind of step up, and it's a good competition, good thing for you to have, because historically, as you look in football, the quarterbacks tend to get hurt. And so it's not about the starter, it's who's there to back them up, as we saw last year.
Yeah, we saw, I was talking to our offensive coordinator, Coach Park, today, and I told him I'd like to not have to start a freshman quarterback for the third year in a row. And we were talking about that position, and that is only going to make us better as a football program because of the level of competition. And I'll give Julian credit. He was put in a tough position to where his first high school start was not only a playoff game, but a playoff game on the road in southeastern Mississippi. So a long bus trip, never made a start, really hadn't played a ton of significant minutes at the varsity level. And he goes out there and, there are some things that he kind of missed here and there, but he also threw the ball well in some moments and showed kind of some bright spots and showed what he was capable of. You know, the kind of an old coaching phrase is, if you can do it once, you can do it again. And he showed us a few things that he can do. You have Hudson Holman, who I thought continued to progress throughout the year and gotten better. I'm excited to see where he is in the offseason. And then Sebastian Nelson, who started for us as a freshman in the 2022 season, it was out all year from an injury. He's starting to now kind of get back into full shape here and starting his throwing program and get back after surgery. So, you know, those three guys at competition, they all have three different skill sets, which is great. But also they're going to push each other. One of those quarterbacks is going to continue to improve to the point where, you know, they're going to make our program better. And then the other guys, I think whoever doesn't win that position is going to continue to push. And so one of the things is going to happen, we're going to have, you know, a guy that kind of solidifies his spot, and the rest of the guys are going to be behind him continuing to work so that they can maybe retake that. But that's only going to make that position better and our offense as a whole better.
One of the issues today in sports, you see it in basketball, baseball, they've become year-round sports where kids play the sport year-round. That's all they do. Football's not that way. Talk a little bit about what the offseason looks like, because the physicality of the game, you have to rest your body, you have to get healthy.
Yeah.
After your team meeting, what's the timeline go as you kind of get into the spring? Is there certain expectations of the players getting in the weight room, doing those things individually to make themselves better before you all meet back up for spring ball?
Yeah, so they will, you know, they'll continue to lift in their strength class. So we get all of our lifting done during the day with Coach G, and he's done a great job with them there. And then when we come back in January, we're going to talk with our coaches a little bit more, but we're looking at maybe coming together once or twice a week as a team and kind of get some speed, agility work, some of that type of stuff. You know, just to get the guys, really it's more about getting the guys around each other and continuing to build a culture, which I thought the culture of our program took a step forward. Having a 3-8 season is hard, but I never felt like the culture of our team was giving up. I never felt like our coaches were giving up. I never felt like people were blaming each other or pointing fingers. Like, we were all continuing to go out to practice and try to get better and continue to work. So I thought that took a huge step forward, having those guys kind of be back around each other. The worst thing that can happen is you don't see each other again until June 5th or 6th or whenever that date starts, where we'll kind of get our summer work going again. So we'll continue. I've talked with our defensive line coach, Coach Southard. You know, we do a CTS, a Choose the Shield meeting once a week during the season. We're looking to continue that in the off season. You know, once we come back from Christmas break, just again, keep it more about the imperishable things, the virtues, the good habits that we're building on top of the physical preparation. You know, I think our mission statement here at the school is to build you know, students that are strong in mind, body, character, and spirit for lives of learning and service according to the gospel. And we got to practice what we preach there, and that's got to be practiced throughout all of our programs. And we try to really live that out through our football program. It's not just about the physical football player, but it's about their spiritual life. It's about their mental health. It's about all those things. So we're going to try to incorporate some of that into our off-season plan as well.
And family time. I'm sure your wife's happy to get you back around the family as the other coaches and things.
No, it's been good. It's been good, you know, to have that time back with family and with my kids, and I know our coaches feel the same way. You know, it's always bittersweet, right? So, you know, you don't want the season to end, but when it does, you kind of get a little bit of that time back. And I want our guys to understand too, like, my kids come out to practices and stuff.
Sure.
And Coach Park's kid does sometimes, and Coach Banks and Coach Carpenter, and like, it's important for our players to see, you know, strong role models for families. I think family is one of the most important things in our society, and I think it's important for our players to see we can strive to be good at football and not sacrifice completely our family life. So,
as you reflect back on the season, is there a moment or moments that you take great pride in. I know the overtime victory against BGA, and I'm going to talk about more of the things that happen on the field, not necessarily things that happen off the field. But are there things that you look back on, they're like, that was a really cool moment, and as you reflect back on the season?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at stuff on the field, obviously the BGA overtime win was good. I thought that, we kind of we took the lead early in that one. We struggled in the second half. They took it back. We were down to our last play, and it's either we score here or we lose. And we ended up making a play, and that was huge for morale of our football team. That was huge for, us as coaches. Another big moment I thought was, that first drive against CPA. That game didn't end the way we wanted it to, obviously, but that's a moment we can look back on. I think CPA is the premier program in Division II AA, and probably favored to win a state championship. And to be able to make a play on special teams, get the ball, and then go right down the field and score on them, I think that's something that we can look back with these returning guys and say, if you can do it once, you can do it again, like we talked about. So, to kind of start building that confidence up in them and getting them to understand, like, we're not. I know the record was a tough record, but we're not as far off as I think people might think we are with the record. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we improve through the off season. And this is the crazy thing. We're already talking about next season, right? And the season hasn't even been over a week. And that's what I try to get these guys to understand: the perishable versus the imperishable.
Yeah.
No matter what sport you play, as soon as somebody wins the championship, the very next word out of whoever's mouth is, well, who's going to win it next year?
Yep.
Like, they've already stopped thinking about the champion. And they've already started thinking about, well, what are we going to do next year? Who's going to win it next year? Can you repeat it? And I want our guys to enjoy the moment. I want our guys to enjoy the relationships that they build. I want them to strive to win those perishable things. But at the end of the day, like, the minute you win a championship, or the minute you win a rivalry game, or the minute you have a big regional win, it's on to the next thing. And those things are fleeting and they don't last. So we're trying to get our players to understand that that there are bigger and more important things, and use the perishable things, use those things to get better at the imperishable, to get better at building relationships, to be better at building a relationship with Christ, with your family. And that's what I enjoy about coaching at this level. I think the higher up you go, and the collegiate level, even at small college football, there's a lot of, it's all about the wins and losses, and there's some things here and there in there. But at the high school level, I really want to try to teach these guys the right way to live life, get them to understand the important things about life, get them to understand that you can work hard and fight for things that you want. But at the same time, you have to know that those are not going to last and sustain you. We're already talking about next year. This season is gone for our seniors. The football program, I told them all year, the football program is going to be here. It's part of being a part of something bigger than themselves. So I really hope that they had an experience that they'll remember, as far as with their teammates and with the blood, sweat, and the tears that they poured out on that field. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of how they led our team. It's hard to lead a team with 20 seniors, let alone 5 seniors. All those guys, I have a lot of respect for how they've stuck it out. A lot of the kids in that class didn't stick it out, and they did, and I'm proud of the way that they held it together this year.
Well, you're already preseason number 1 in my projections for next year.
That's great. That's awesome.
But this has been an honor this year. It's our first time doing this. A huge shout out to Dave Gould and Main Street Preps, Main Street Media, for giving our school and us this opportunity to promote the school and some of the things that you're doing that are not just football related. But Coach, it's been an honor. I hate that we're not going to have the Friday nights together. Yeah. But before we know it, we're going to have a lot of Tuesday, Friday night basketball games. Yeah. But we'll be back doing this before we know it. And it's been an honor this year.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, thank you.
It.
You've been watching the Pope Prep High School Football Coaches Show with Kyle Reynolds and Pope Prep head football coach Brian Sneed. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest news about Pope Prep High School football. The Pope Prep High School Football Coaches Show was brought to you by Clausen Group Realtors and by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.